So to continue with the story, he sat his partner down. He told his partner what he wanted to do. The partner felt like it was a good idea. So now all they had to do was to work, save the money from the profit in order for them to do this. So a little time went past, and it was like maybe 5 or 6 months later, the other partner came to him and said that he had met a girl and he was going to get married and he was going to have to step away from the business. Um, and so, of course, he was like, okay, I understand, are you sure you want to give up your, percentage in the business? And he said, yes. So he left, and the other partner paid him out, a certain amount. And he signed over his other 50% of the business to him. No problem. Everything good, right? And so what happened was he hadn't heard from his best friend in some months, and he thought that it was weird because even though that they wasn't a business partner, he felt like, they were friends and he would invite him to certain things or whatever, but he hadn't heard from him for a while. So he was out one day and he ran into, his best friend's parents. And the parents was telling him that they were in town because of, their son's engagement party, right? So, so he he thought that it was weird, and he called him and he's like, man, you're having an engagement party, didn't invite me? And so then he was like, no, I just hadn't gotten around to it, I've been really, really busy or whatever. And so he invites him to the engagement party. They go, they're talking and everything, and then somehow it slipped out that he was starting his own business. So the other partner said, well, dude, what are you going to be doing? He said, oh, I'm doing something totally different. It's going to be me and my wife. Woo, this and that. So he's like, oh, okay. And so some time went by again, and he hadn't heard from him. He hadn't talked to him or whatever. And it was like a little time before they were supposed to get married, and he was invited to the wedding. He was invited to the wedding. And so they had the grand opening for his new business. And so he overheard that from just people saying, hey, you heard such and such business is opening. The grand opening is Saturday. Woo, this or that. And he was like, no, he didn't tell me about that. So again, he called his friend, but his friend didn't answer, So